a friend of mine who recently did a feature at the Art House, Dani Kassander.
Hello there. I am an EMT. I've been an EMT for about 2 years now, and it is so much different than I thought it was going to be. Like, when I first became an EMT, I thought I was going to be saving lives. I thought I was going to be delivering babies. I have saved 0 lives. I have delivered 0 babies, and I have seen 4 old man wieners. And it's always an old guy. Like, I never see any wieners my age. Not that I want to see a bunch of wieners, but it makes it so much worse that it's an old guy. It's like looking at a sad banana. It's like the banana in the bunch that just gave up. And I told my coworker about this, that this kept happening, and she said, this is not a coincidence. Horny old men will call 911 hoping that they get a pretty EMT to flash their wiener to. And I have all my teeth, so apparently I'm a catch. And I was like, well, what do I do about this? This keeps happening. And she says, if you show any emotion, even if you show disgust, they get a rise out of it. So what you have to do is tell them they're small. Because if you don't, they will keep calling 911, and this will keep happening. So I have to make horny old men feel bad about themselves, which is awesome. I was so excited to insult an old guy the next time he flashed me his wiener that I started fantasizing about it. Like, the next time an old guy shows me his wiener, I'm gonna be like, hey, your wiener's so small, I thought it was Danny DeVito. Trash, man. And we got dispatched for a heart attack, and I was so excited because I couldn't wait to save a life. But when we got there, the guy wasn't having a heart attack at all. He was just sitting on his bed totally fine. And it turned out that he actually called 911 at 3 in the morning for a glass of juice. And on the outside, I was like, oh yes sir, right away. But on the inside, I was like, I just spent 3 months of training and $800 to become an EMT so I could quit my waitressing job at Denny's, and I'm still just bringing juice to drunk people. And then I was like, all right, Danny, reel it back. Look on the bright side. His wiener is tucked safely away. So I went and got him some juice. And when I came back, his wiener was out! And I was like, hey, do you still want your juice? I have every opportunity to be mean to these creeps, but I just can't, you know? I got into this field because I wanted to help people. And it feels like everyone around me is so desensitized. Do you know what other EMTs call HIV patients? High fives. Do you know what they call fall patients? FDGB. Do you know what that stands for? Think yes. What do you think that stands for?
No.
I'll give you a hint. It's not nearly as creative or funny as the last one. Fall down, go boom. We got dispatched. The transcript just said drowning pizza. Correction, drowning person. And my favorite thing about this is how long it took to get that correction. It wasn't like drowning pizza, oops, LOL, drowning person. It was like drowning pizza. Like, sure. Get that? Seriously, where'd you get that? Yeah. Drowning person! So for 5 minutes, so when I got that, I knew
Just plug it back in,
had
honey.
to be a typo. Thank you. When I got that, I knew that it had to be a typo, but a part of me was like, what if I get there and there's actually a drowning pizza? I just like to entertain the thought, like, how did it drown? Did someone tie it up mob style, throw it down the lake? What's my plan of action? I gotta dive down there, bring it back up. How am I gonna perform CPR without messing up the pepperoni? What if the defibrillator toasts the cheese too much? Then I get there and I'm working on it and I save its life. I get my picture taken for the local paper. Local hero saves pizza. And I got all this going on in my mind. And then I get there and there's no pizza at all. Just a dead lady. Gross. When I was writing that joke, I forgot the word for defibrillator. So I Googled, what do you call the shocky paddle thing? We got another dispatch that just said, patient can't stop shitting. This is a professional 911 operator, and he used the word shitting. The transcript continues. Patient can't stop shitting, but when he smokes weed, it stops. So he called 911 for weed. Pro tip, the phone number for your drug dealer shouldn't be the same as the phone number for the police. Now, I understand calling 911 to show me your wiener. But if you call 911 for weed, it just makes me wonder, what experience did you have in the past that made you think that this was a thing? Like, did an EMT show up at your doorstep like, I'm gonna prescribe you a gram of OG Kush. Are you getting the munchies? We just saved a pizza at our last call. So I'm an EMT, I try to help people, I try to be a good person. Like, most people are getting in trouble with the cops because of robbery and possession. Meanwhile, I get into trouble with the cops because I thought that if you see a road closed sign, you're just supposed to drive around it. But I try to be a good person. So with that in mind, I had this pillow that I used to hump for some reason. And most people, if you have something like that, you're gonna put it in the closet or under the bed where no one will ever find it. But I was like, zebra print really ties the room together. So I put it on my bed for decoration, which is really bad because a friend came over and I bumped it and it turned on and started vibrating. And she picked it up. And again, I try to be a good person. But this was a new friend, so I couldn't be like, hey, don't lay on that because I humped it ferociously. And I couldn't find the words to articulate this in time, and I watched as she started to put it behind her head, and it just happened in slow motion, and I was like, I guess I'm just gonna let this happen. And then about a month later, we were hanging out with our friend, and he comes out of the bathroom, and I was like, did you wash your hands? And he's like, no, I never wash my hands after I go to the bathroom. And I was like, that's gross. And then my friend from the pillow incident, now I don't know what prompted her to say this, but she was like, well, do you wash your hands after you masturbate? Because if you don't, that's the same thing. And I was like, what if I don't use my hands? And she goes, was it that fucking pillow? Now, I'm not really sure how to transition between talking about masturbating and talking about my dad, but my dad, my friends see my dad as this powerful macho businessman. He has a mustache, he drinks Crown Royal straight, and when he gets excited, he will pound his chest like a wild gorilla. But one time, I saw him get excited to feed the cat because she snuggled up against his leg, and I watched a grown man go, kitty cat. My dad also likes to trick people into thinking he's Mexican. I don't know why. Let me give you an example. We'll go out somewhere to like a Mexican restaurant, and he'll be like, uno burrito, por favor. And then he'll lean over to me like, they totally thought I was Mexican. And I'll be like, Dad, we're at Chipotle. I don't think they care. In the vein of pretending to be Mexican, my dad also prides himself in knowing the bare minimum of Spanish. Like, I used to be really into this band Rammstein, and they're a German band, but they have this one song in Spanish called Te Quiero Puta. And my dad was so excited to try to translate it. He was like, oh, Te Quiero Puta, that means I love you, something. He didn't know this, but it meant I love you whore. And it was fascinating to watch my dad try to translate this song without that context. He was like, oh, Danielle, That means more, more, more. Give me more. That means you taste like lemon. And I was like, that's nice, Dad. What's the Spanish word for therapy? This pretending to be Mexican thing has gone a little out of hand. Recently, he came up to me and was like, oh, what if on the census I put myself as Latino? And I was like, oh, what if you didn't? Please don't lie to the government, Dad. It's interesting how the parent dynamic has switched, because I used to be the one coming to him for advice. Like, one time I was getting bullied really bad by this cheerleader, and I went to him about it, and he was like, here's what you do. You tell her, I thought you had to be pretty to be a cheerleader. And I was like, that's the kind of advice I'm looking for, all right. So I go into the school next day, and I was like, hey, Stephanie, I thought you had to be pretty to be a cheerleader. And she was like, shut up, Miss K. So, being a substitute teacher didn't work out. My dad and I were shopping for a futon for my new apartment recently because I wanted a crappy bed that doubled as a crappy couch. And with a childlike wonder, he goes, oh my God, this futon turns into a bed! Kitty cat! My dad listens to a lot of the Howard Stern show, and there's this one guy who always calls in to complain about stuff. But before he starts ranting, they play this sound effect that goes ring ring. And my dad thought it would be funny to make this sound every time my mom complained. We were on family vacation once, and my mom started complaining to him about something, and he goes, ring ring. And my mom goes, Tony, I swear to God, if you do that again, I'm leaving you. My mom's so funny. My parents are divorced. Now, we go on our own family vacations. Recently, my dad and I went to Washington, D.C., and I don't know if you know this, but weed is legal there. My dad ordered weed to our hotel room. That's the kind of hookup we need here. Here, you either gotta know a guy or call 911. So we smoked a bowl and we scuttled out through the city looking for pizza. And we found this trendy pizza place that had every topping you could possibly imagine. And now, I'm a vegan, so I got vegan cheese, which I didn't even know was a thing. And then we had the munchies so hard, and I'm just plowing this pizza into my face. And I was like, oh my God, how is vegan cheese this good? And then my dad goes, I don't remember ordering broccoli on my pizza. And I wasn't upset because I just ate cheese. I was upset because that meant I had to go from eating this amazing pizza to this sad vegan pizza. To measure my disappointment, if both of these pizzas were drowning, vegan pizza's not getting CPR. To be honest, I wouldn't even give it the shocky paddle thing. Thank you so much. My name is Dani Kassander, and that's my dad.
She played on previous
Yeah, she's good at writing.
Fantastic.